Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be unpacking a case that is, well, it's as tragic as it is deeply mysterious. We're looking into the dark mystery of Kayla Sobczak. There are some cases that just completely grip a community, right? Cases where the unanswered questions leave this heavy, lingering shadow over everything. So today, we're going to use the timelines, the forensic facts, and the official reports to reconstruct exactly what we know about this heartbreaking story step by step. Let's dive in.
So, March 9th, 2025. This was a day that was supposed to be completely normal. I mean, picture it. People are grabbing their morning coffee, heading to work or school, doing the usual routine. But for one family, this specific date marks the exact moment their reality literally fractured and turned into a living nightmare. Sometimes the absolutely most horrifying mysteries start on the most ordinary days. And this date right here, it's the anchor point for everything we're about to explore.
Let's start with Section 1, the sudden disappearance and how a normal life was interrupted.
To really understand this, we need to know who we're talking about. Kayla Sobczak was only 18 years old, and she wasn't just, a random name in a police file. She was a typical teenager, full of life and full of dreams. Actually, she was an honor student. She volunteered at the local clinic, and she dreamed of becoming a pediatric nurse. She was super connected to her friends and focused entirely on her future. There was absolutely no history of running away, no warning signs, and definitely no goodbye note left on her bed. But early in March 2025, after finishing a shift at her part-time job, she just vanished, leaving her family with these endless, agonizing questions.
Now, you might be thinking, teenagers run away all the time, right? And it's true. In the United States, literally thousands of teenagers go missing every single year. But statistically speaking, the vast majority of those are, in fact, runaways. Kayla definitively did not fit that profile. For her parents, this wasn't just some broad national statistic. It was an acute, terrifying crisis. The sudden absence of their daughter was this deafening silence they had to navigate in real time, knowing deep down that something was terribly, horribly wrong.
So, in those crucial initial hours, that panic was quickly channeled into action. Step 1, the police were officially notified and an investigation kicked off. Step 2, within hours, hundreds of flyers were frantically printed out and plastered everywhere: transit hubs, coffee shops, community centers. And Step 3, a massive community search began. It was led by our high school teachers and local volunteers. Literally everyone banded together, combing the immediate blocks and surrounding neighborhoods, holding out hope for a quick, safe resolution.
Which brings us to Section 2, a tragic discovery, and how the search ends.
If we look at the timeline here, in early March, the nightmare begins when Kayla fails to come home. Then, in those initial hours, panic strikes, and that community search we just talked about begins. But then, we hit that fateful date, March 9th, 2025. This was the day the search officially ended in profound tragedy, because this is when investigators finally located Kayla's remains.
The devastating reality was this: she wasn't hiding, she wasn't lost. Kayla was found deceased. And, in an instant, the entire nature of the situation inverted. That desperate hope of a rescue mission, gone, completely replaced by the cold, hard reality of tragedy. The case instantly shifted from a missing person search to a formal death investigation.
The discovery was made in a dense, remote patch of woods off Route 9. Now, this was miles from her usual route home, which makes zero sense. So the area was immediately cordoned off by the local police, securing a really wide perimeter through the trees. Homicide detectives arrived on the scene to take over from the initial search units. And in that moment, the fundamental question driving the authorities entirely changed. The focus shifted from, where is Kayla, to how in the world did an 18-year-old girl end up deep in these woods?
Let's unpack this in Section 3, suspicious circumstances and demystifying the investigation. According to official reports, Kayla was found under what authorities immediately classified as suspicious circumstances. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, it's a situation where a scene raises immediate red flags for investigators, indicating it's not just a simple accident. And for this specific scene, those red flags were glaring. The position of the body, the stark absence of her phone and backpack, and the fact that there were no natural hazards in that specific clearing, all of that told detectives right away that this was not a medical emergency. These puzzle pieces firmly pointed to human intervention.
Because of those distinct forensic red flags, the question of foul play moved front and center. I mean, the biggest question on everyone's mind: was she targeted? Detectives immediately began pulling her social media logs, going through text histories and interviewing coworkers. They needed to see if someone had been, say, monitoring her shifts at the clinic.
They had to determine if someone specifically sought out this vibrant 18-year-old with malicious, premeditated intent.
But there's always an alternative theory, right? And honestly, it's just as frightening. Or was she simply in the wrong place at the wrong time? See, that wooded area off Route 9 was sometimes utilized by transients, and there had been scattered reports of opportunistic crime in the wider district. So you have to ask, was this just a random, senseless act of violence? Just a tragic crossing of paths with the wrong person on what was supposed to be a normal afternoon?
Finally, Section 4, the search for answers and the fight for justice.
So here is where things currently stand. Forensic evidence gathered from that woodland scene has been meticulously collected and is actively being processed in state labs right now as they try to piece together exactly what happened. Understandably, the local community remains in absolute shock, rightfully demanding answers for a young teen whose life was cut incredibly short. But above all, Kayla's family is demonstrating just immense resilience. They've set up a dedicated tip line, they've hired a private investigator, and they're holding weekly vigils in the town square. They are fiercely fighting to keep her case in the public eye until justice is served.
Which leaves investigators, and really all of us, with this echoing question. What actually happened on March 9th? What exact sequence of events led a vibrant young woman, walking her usual route home, to vanish without a trace, only to be found in the silence of those remote woods? I'd really love to hear what you guys think. Please leave your theories and thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you want to support the pursuit of justice for cases like Kayla's and stay updated on all of our true crime breakdowns, make sure to hit that